Rose, coming live from Crow's Attic Studio. I have some questions here that myself and Robert have compiled to ask each other, and so viewers can get an idea of what the Crows are about and where we're coming from. What is your songwriting process? Well, my songwriting process is quite a visceral thing. I can get hit by an idea for a song like a bit like lightning, and I often feel like I'm a vehicle for songs, that songs come through me, that I don't necessarily write them. Often I'm inspired by words. I think words are probably my most inspirational thing when it comes to writing songs, because at some stage you get hit by the melody or the words. For me, I get hit by the words, and then sometimes I get hit by a melody as well, but usually it's words that trigger the process. So and feelings, trying to put feelings into words. So poetry inspires me. It could be a couple of words in a book that just trigger the process, and usually when I get an idea for a melody, it's usually in the shower actually, or sometimes when I'm driving. Often I have to pull over when I'm driving, and I always keep a notebook handy, and that's a good tip for songwriters or writers in that case, but to keep a book handy, a notebook. I have my one here and always writing notes full of scribbles everywhere. And I would say that songwriting for me is quite a visceral experience, and it's very cathartic. And once I'm in that process, I get very obsessive and driven and preoccupied with the song, and I don't like to be interrupted, which is quite challenging when you have children. So I usually try and put aside time for songwriting when the children are at school, or when I know I have the house to myself and the studio to myself and some space. I would say that my songwriting process is something that complements Robert's songwriting process, because in many ways Robert, because he's such a gifted musician, he is like and songwriter, and he is like he can translate my songs, because my process is quite primitive. I play the piano in quite a primitive way, and if I had a guitar it would also be very primitive. So I since I met Robert, it's much easier for me to transfer what it is that's going on in my head, because I will sing the melody to him. I'll have a kind of basic bare bones of a structure, and we will build the song together, and he's brilliant at translating what's going on in my head musically. So I would say that when it comes to the Crows, it's a very enjoyable experience for me with songwriting, because it can be quite isolating on your own, and frustrating for me, trying to get the sounds out there. And Robert is very good at helping me with that. And I would say with the Crows, songwriting is really, really exciting.
Hello, I'm Robert from a line of crows, and I'm here to answer some questions and crow to crow Q&A that Gráinne and I have come up with in order to answer various questions we have heard through the last months, and also to talk about something that we want anyway to address. So we have some questions here. The first question for me is, what is the songwriting process with the Crows? The songwriting process can be described as a dive into the unknown, because we don't know from before what's going to happen, and we don't have a specific recipe, I would say, that we follow. Sometimes the music comes first, a small musical idea that starts with me on the guitar or Gráinne on the piano, just fiddling about with a certain melody, and once we hit upon something that makes us think, yeah, we should go further with that. We come up with some lyrics, or vice versa. Sometimes we have a small lyrical idea, and we feel it needs some music, and we start going for the music that could be the right for this kind of text. Some other times we write both a little bit of the music and a little bit of the lyrics at the same time, and then we take it from there, writing more lyrics and more music. Sometimes Gráinne has some part of the song and I have the other one. Sometimes we write completely separately. I write one song, full song, and she does the same. So there is no recipe really. The only thing I can say is that it comes very easy for us to cooperate, and we never stop to run out of ideas in any way. So there is no recipe, there is no specific way we do things, but there's only one thing that we go for, and that is to create something which is exciting, which is meaningful, which is fun to write, and it's fun to share with you, the ones who like our music. So that takes care of that.
What do you see in the future for the Crows? I see lots more songwriting, lots more music, and working towards getting our music out there, because primarily with a line of Crows, the music is what's important. We do have an aesthetic. We both really like 70s hard rock, we like the blues, we like blues rock, we like all kinds of music, traditional, ethnic, Eastern music, and shoegaze, Americana, lots and lots of influences there, and we really feel that the music is something bigger than us, and that we hope that it will resonate for people, and that people can enjoy our music.
Next question is, what do you see in the future for the Crows? I see lots of money, obviously, to buy new cars and guitars and microphones and all that. But seriously, what I see is that, first of all, I can let you in a little secret here. There is an album coming out. I'm very happy to say that we have completed the recordings of our first album, and now we're gonna need a little bit time to deal with the additional mixing and the final mastering of the album before it's ready to come out, and we'll reveal the title at some point very soon. I can't say the date right now yet, but it's round the corner, so to speak. And after that, making more music, obviously, and videos. That's the other thing we do. To be frank, we never stop writing. So while we're writing, finishing one album, we keep writing. There's always songs coming in, and that's a nice problem to have, because we never seem to run out of ideas. So to go back to the original question, what I see in the future is more a line of Crows material coming out in the form of albums and EPs and singles and videos and what have you.
What are the musical influences of the Crows? I would say that, well, I jokingly said that we were like Mazzy Star getting abducted by the Rolling Stones, and I've also coined a phrase called Spaghetti Peaks, which is like a combination of spaghetti western and Twin Peaks, so sort of like like that desert blues kind of western feel with like film noir, because Robert and myself both love film noir and westerns too, so we have like that kind of dark vibe with the western stuff. And I would say that the Stones are a big influence, Led Zeppelin and Mazzy Star is a big influence for both of us, and quite an obvious one too, because it's a man and a woman duo, I would say that the Doors have come into our influences quite a lot too. Both big fans of the Doors, and PJ Harvey, Nick Cave, Mark Lanigan is somebody an artist I really admire, and I love his songwriting, and I like Marianne Faithfull's Broken English album too. And we have such a broad range of musical influences, but for me, I would say Mazzy Star, I mean, and PJ Harvey would be big influences for me, and Patti Smith. I like lots of the old blues singers as well, and yeah. So thanks for watching.
Um,
Bye.
what are your musical influences for the Crows? I know that Gráinne has already mentioned quite a few of the bands and artists we admire and we like. We have liked through the years. I would say it's pretty impossible to remember all of them because we have a wide range of influences, starting through all the years from the 50s, all the decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and so forth. So it'll be impossible to mention names without leaving some artists out. I would rather say that we like lots of different genres of music. Obviously, rock, hard rock, blues. We like country. We like post-punk, shoegaze. We also like ethnic music or world music, whatever you want to call it, from different places of this world, from Africa to India, from folk music, European folk music, to American folk music. So basically, we like loads of different things and lots of different artists. That there are way too many to mention. But on top of my head, I can say we like some of the 60s artists like The Doors or Jimi Hendrix. We like the Rolling Stones, also from the 70s. Led Zeppelin, for example. We like quite a few alternative artists like PJ Harvey or Nick Cave. We like legendary country singers like Johnny Cash, for example. There's many things we have liked through the years, and we still do. Basically, we like good music of any kind, and we're always looking for new sounds and interesting artists and bands to listen to. And yeah, it's impossible not to forget some artists when you're talking about our favorite bands or influences.